Hello, it's Ben with the DIY Homefront. And if you're watching this, you're curious about this Ohio steel yard cart I got behind me. Well, let's get into it. So I did that the first week I owned it. I came too close to the corner of the barn and it got caught on the metal flashing. And it's been like that for 5 years. So that means it comes with a really good set of tires, so you don't have to worry about that. Next, let's look how you're going to hook this up when you want to tow the cart. So I thought this was pretty neat. Let's say you got a four-wheeler instead of a lawnmower you want to pull it with. This pin right here, it comes out, and check out what happens. That slides forward. Sorry, a little hard to do it one-handed and hold the camera. So now you can put this back in here. Put the little pin in the bottom. And now you can pull this thing wherever you want to with a ball hitch. Pretty neat. And it also lets you adjust it too. This can turn. Maybe not the easiest. And you can do those kind of adjustments to make the cart more level. I thought that was a pretty ingenious little design. And this is a different view of it attached to the ball hitch. This shows how I hook it up to my lawnmower. Moving on, here are some of the specifications. This is a 15 cubic foot hybrid dump cart. And I paid $320 for this back in 2018. So this review is going to be a good review because I've had it for a while. It's not like I just opened it up and used it for 10 minutes and I'm going to tell you what I think. I did a little research and you can buy this same cart at Tractor Supply for $399 and a version of it from Amazon for $469. To me, I really think it's worth the money, but we'll get into that. Okay, if we're going to talk about the cart part itself, it is supposed to be able to support 1,250 pounds, and I believe it probably would. It's also made out of a really thick plastic that's very durable. I have thrown bricks into this cart from the back of my truck bed, and I've never had a problem with it cracking or splitting or anything, and I've been pretty abusive. Over the years, I have made several attachments for this dump cart, which has made it even more useful. We rake our yard once a year, and sometimes we rake it more just to collect pine straw. And one of the first things that I did was I built some railing to go on the cart so I could haul a lot more pine straw. And the cart's really easy to do this to because it has slots molded into plastic top railing around the cart. The only issue I've ever had with those slots is that sometimes they fill up with dirt and debris. But you can take a screwdriver and clean them out quick enough. But that's just going to be happening if you're using the cart like I do, shoveling dirt into it, picking up leaves and pine straw. And you can see it's really easy to take these railings in and out. Here I've got some sticks in the cart, but it's a better view of how the railing slides in. I took some 3/8" plywood and nailed it onto some little runners I made and put it together with a bunch of nails and some Gorilla Glue, and voila, one very convenient lawn cart. Now I've got a lot of pine straw in my yard, and that is the bomb for collecting pine straw. It doesn't fall out even though the slots are pretty big. It works perfectly. So something you can do. Didn't take too long, and I got another use out of my Ohio steel lawn cart. If you're putting something heavy in the cart, the 15 cubic foot capacity is fine. Dirt, concrete, bricks, you don't really need anything bigger than what the cart is. But if you're doing something light or you're doing something that's bulky like the pine straw, These rails really make it a lot more useful. And you can see by the amount of pine straw that I'm putting in here that it really does hold quite a bit. If I was going to use this same setup for leaves, I probably would have put the boards on the railing close together to make sure the leaves didn't fall out in between the boards. But most of the time when I'm using the railing, it's just for pine straw. Now let's talk about how to dump the cart. All you'd have to do is push your foot down on a gray pad and just tilt it back. And the way the back of the cart is cut at a 45-degree angle, it lays flat on the ground, which makes it extremely easy to unload this cart.
So another cool feature about this cart is that it's got grooves cut in the sides.
And I cut a piece of cardboard and made a template, and then cut out 2 pieces of plywood to that shape. And they just slide right in. So with both of the partitions in, it creates a flat surface you can use to cut things. These partitions are also handy to keep things separate. Right now I've got my tools in the center bin, but many times we'll use this for when we're planting things, and we'll put the plants in one bin and the potting soil in another, just to keep them separate.
And when you're done, you can rearrange it for different uses.
I also built a storage compartment that fits in the 2 slots in the front and then rests on the sides for support. There's a lot of things that stay inside of this storage compartment, but it varies depending on what kind of job I'm doing. The hinges are from an old bifold door, and the wood is 3/4 inch plywood, mainly scraps that are just cut to the right shape. And it is very sturdy. I put a lot of heavy things on top of this. As you can see, the paint's wore off. I also cut some PVC pipe and used carriage bolts to bolt it to the inside of the cart. That way I have some place to put my rake and shovel. If you've got any questions about any of these attachments that I've made, leave me a comment and I'll get back to you on it.
So this is made out of some 3/8 inch plywood and a couple of scrap 2x4s screwed together. And you can just rest this across the top. It can't go anyplace. And I can put my saw right there, and I can throw my scraps right there.
And here it is in action. It really is easy. I have a sawhorse that is designed to hold this miter saw, but I find it just easier to use the cart and just pull an extension cord to wherever I need to be. Alright, it's time to wrap up this review. And as you have seen, I've made several attachments for my Ohio steel dump cart. And you can see 3 of them right now. I've got my platform for my miter saw. I've got some holders for a rake or a shovel. And I've got my toolbox that I can put stuff in and also becomes a flat surface to put things on. I've built some rails to put on it to make it easier to pick up pine straw and yard debris. So I made some dividers, which allows me to keep my tools and material separated while I'm working on a project. And last is the cart itself, which I found to be very durable and strong. I've hauled cement and logs, bricks, dirt. I even filled it up with water one year when we had a dry spell and I was trying to keep the plants alive.
I hope that was useful. Maybe you can try some of those modifications to your yard cart. At any rate, like, subscribe, check out the playlist, and I'll see you in that next video.